Hi, I'm Keri Murphy, and welcome to Spotlight, where we showcase amazing entrepreneurs and their stories. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably someone who loves what you do. You have a big mission and purpose in the world, but there might be an area that you shy away from just a little bit, and that is your numbers. Well, not anymore, not after today's Spotlight interview with CEO, business owner, number extraordinaire, accountant, Chantal. Chantal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You know, we were just having this conversation, how, you know, if you're a woman in business, it's a preconceived notion that you're just not good at numbers.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not true.
No, it's absolutely not true.
So when you work with women, I know you work with men too, you know, what is that thing that you find so often around the belief around numbers?
I think what I find most often is women have been conditioned to think that they're not good at their numbers. And they're really good at what they do in their business, and someone else will take care of that.
Right.
My husband will take care of that, or my son will take care of that, or somebody will take care of that.
Somebody will take care of that.
Somebody will take care of the numbers, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times they're not taken care of. And that's why, sadly, 8 out of 10 businesses fail, I think. It's not because you're not good at what you do, but it's simply because you don't understand the numbers.
Absolutely.
And so, Chantal, you actually work with business owners on understanding the story that their numbers tell. So tell us a little bit about the storytelling around numbers.
Right. So I spent a lot of years auditing in order to become a chartered accountant. And in that time, I started to recognize that the stories within people's businesses were really telling us like what had happened and helping us forecast what would be happening in the future. So I instead of thinking of them as numbers and scary things, I started thinking of them about like stories.
Yeah, and that's great because when you can understand that, then you make better decisions.
Absolutely.
Right? You can go out there and get the financing that you need, the marketing decisions, the team. But when you ignore them or shove them under the rug, like so many people do, like you find yourself in a pickle, right? In a really tough spot.
Yeah.
And so you are someone who has, again, you've been the CEO of businesses, you own Cloud9 Spa, Nail and Spa. What have you learned through that time of wearing so many hats? By the way, the fact that you are a chartered accountant and an entrepreneur, you're an anomaly all in yourself, that you love numbers and you're creative.
Yeah.
But what has that taught you, wearing all those hats?
One of the most important things I've learned in that process is that we have to be looking at the numbers. We have to break down that fear. Not only the fear of looking at the numbers, but the fear of what good numbers mean. Mm-hmm. We're not bad people because we make money in our business.
Right.
In fact, that's a good thing.
Yeah, you want to make money.
You want to make money. It's almost like people think numbers are a mystery. And they really aren't a mystery. They are just a picture of what's already happened.
Right.
And there's so many ways that you can look at numbers. And that, for me, makes things really exciting.
I love your excitement around numbers too, because I mean, you didn't always have this excitement.
No.
Right? So,
no.
A little birdie told me, like, you didn't make it through 11th grade math the first time.
No, I didn't make it through grade 11 math the first time, and I squeezed by the second time. I think there was just not an expectation as a girl, and I don't like to generalize, but I just think there was an expectation that I didn't need to be good at math. Mm-hmm. I also believed I didn't need math in my life. I figured that's what a calculator is for. In that same year, I was doing terribly in English, but my grade 11 English teacher showed up at my house to have a meeting with my parents to say what's going on. My grade 11 math teacher, not so much.
Right, so it's just like societal that
I think so.
I think we say, oh, women don't have to be good at math, right? Or we can't be, but we absolutely can be good.
Absolutely.
And when you understand your numbers, like we talked about, it is exciting and you get different results.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. Don't you want her on your team? Like, show us the fun. So tell us a little bit about the story when you and your husband, who's also a certified accountant, were trying to get funding, because it really was about the story that you presented.
Yeah, so we approached our bank to get some money. We wanted to invest in a business, and we got the email back that said, denied. And so my husband let me know, and I thought, who are they saying no to?
Do they know who they're talking to?
Absolutely. Do they know who we are?
Because you were both like great earners at that point. So
we're chartered accountants. We had 2 children. We had just bought our second home. And we had a great financial outlook.
Right.
So, you know, I said to him, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to print out our resumes, and we're going to print out our 5-year plan. We're going to print out, just who we are and what we're doing and why we want this money. And we're going to go to the bank and we're going to meet with the manager and we're going to interview the people in the bank and decide who we want to work with, rather than letting them just shuffle us off to whoever had, some space in their calendar.
Which is a very different approach. Like, that's much more empowering, right? Like,
Absolutely.
we're going to choose who's going to work with us.
Absolutely. And I think that was on a Monday, and by Friday we had the money that we wanted.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it was
Absolutely.
just by how you presented the numbers.
Absolutely. It was having the proper communication, knowing the information they were looking for, and being able to present it in a way that they understood.
Okay, now you said something that had me a little uneasy, which was a 5-year plan.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you actually help people create? Do you help them actually put the story together so they can go out there and get what they need to grow their businesses?
Yeah, there's two seasons of thought on that right now in terms of, do you need a 5-year plan and do you not? I believe you do, but I also think it's most important to understand what's happening right here and to also understand the trends within your business. So for us personally, the trend was that our income was accelerating and we had made good decisions.
Right, so let's show that, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Let's show that. But absolutely, I mean, if you own a business and you want to grow it, you need a 5-year plan, because you need to know where you're pointing, where you're going.
Right, where you're trying to get
Right.
to. Yeah.
And you need to be able to look back and look forward and compare what's happening in both places to know that you're on track.
Okay, Chantal, so for those of us who are business owners and someone's watching and they're saying, okay, this sounds great, but I don't even know where to begin when it comes to my numbers. What are a couple good pointers you can give us?
Right. When I work with a lot of women entrepreneurs, one of the first things I find that is missing is a good bookkeeper. So often I hear, oh, but my bookkeeper only charges $15, and that sounds like a good rate, and it's my brother's cousin's best friend's dog's sister's cousin,
right, yeah.
or something like that. Okay, that is not how we find a bookkeeper, and we don't decide that a bookkeeper is great because they don't cost us a lot of money.
Right. So true.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Having an inexperienced bookkeeper can end up costing you a lot more than doing it properly the first time.
And as someone who did auditing, you know that probably better than most.
I do, and I help people hire bookkeepers just for that reason. And then the second thing I think is, being able to sit down and decide what are the numbers that we need to look at, either daily or weekly or monthly, because every business doesn't need to look at the same numbers. Right?
Okay, so it's really understanding what numbers are important.
Exactly, understanding what's driving your business, and on a daily basis, what is important to see what's going on.
So one of the things that you are really passionate about too when it comes to numbers is the team that surrounds you when looking at those.
Absolutely.
So why is team so relevant to our numbers and our bottom line?
So I like to explain it this way. Numbers don't just happen into an accounting system. So the numbers, like I said, they tell you a picture. They paint a picture for you.
Sure.
That picture is made up of a variety of different processes and people that are doing certain tasks to arrive at a destination, which is the balance sheet and profit and loss statement.
Right.
So it's important to understand who is responsible for what roles within the company and what things they may or may not be doing that may be missing you or costing you money. Mm-hmm. Understanding their mindset and understanding, are they bought into the culture and the vision of the organization? Because weak culture and weak vision absolutely shines through in a set of financial statements.
Sure.
So really getting to the heart of the business, which is the people.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. And our chuckle was about, she's Canadian, so it's processes. So she's really working on her American processes. Apples. Okay. So Chantal, when someone comes to you, what is one of the first things that you do, and how do you help, really increase their bottom line when it comes to numbers?
So the first thing I do, like I said, is to make sure that they have a good bookkeeper. And then we look at their financial statements, assuming that they have some. If they don't, that's, we work on...
You could take out that box of receipts.
Right, we work on helping them get there. I don't do the bookkeeping myself, but
Right.
I'll help them get that done. And looking at the trends that exist within their organization, whether they're a one-person entity or they've got 20 employees, or in some cases I've worked with companies that have 200 employees. And then looking at what are other organizations within your sector doing. So what are some of the benchmarks? So for example, in a service-based business, you should be netting a 20% bottom line. So every dollar that you make, you should be keeping 20 cents of that
Right.
after you pay all your expenses. So we look at some of those key ratios and we start developing the story.
Thank you, Chantal. I mean, it's such great information. I know you might not think numbers is sexy and it's something you need to look at, but when you have a business that is so important to you and you're committed to making a difference, and money is just a barometer of the impact that you're having in the world, and we don't want to work for free, right? We want to be able to do good and be good and have a life of freedom and substance. So if someone wants to learn more about how you can support their vision and really understanding their numbers, how do they do that?
They can simply go to my website. It's powerinnumbers.ca, not .com, .ca, and they can fill out the form to have a 30-minute free consult with me.
And it's absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
And you help them understand their numbers and what's next.
Well, maybe not in 30 minutes,
Right.
but we definitely get started to see where they're at, and we can create a bit of a plan to look at it go forward.
Love it. Well, you know, one of the things that I really admire about you, Chantal, is that you might have like skirted through 11th grade math, but you have a love for helping people really understand numbers, the power of numbers. You've helped businesses grow, raise money, you own companies, and you're just so trustworthy and relatable. And I think when it comes to numbers, there's such a fear and a guilt around, you know, not doing it right, that you're such a wonderful person to work with. And I'm so excited for people to get to know you better and work with you so they can really step into those numbers and make a bigger profit and impact and all that good stuff. So again, go to powerinnumbers.ca. And if you liked this interview and you're inspired to get those numbers under control, please share it with someone and post your comments, because we love to hear from you. Keep doing your best work in the world. And as always, remember to keep dreaming it, living it, and being it. Until next time.